It's 9:40 in Eastern Standard Time here in the state of Kentucky. Trifecta Sports Podcast. As always, I'm Frank. I'm here with Coop. Dave will be joining us shortly. He's having a little technical difficulties. What else is new, Dave? Today we got a show all geared toward the NFL. We're going to talk about some other things along the line too as they come up. We don't really have a plan for today, but we're going to make our Super Bowl picks, talk about the games last week, looking forward to this week. Other than that, fellas, I think we're just going to hit the drop.
Woo!
Speaking of the devil,
Right.
right after the drop, Dave. That's good timing, buddy. Good timing. Good timing. All right. I'm gonna throw a shameless plug out there today. We've got a sponsor, fellas, and the sponsor is a brand new hat company called Creekwater Hat Company that I created about 2 weeks ago. It's a sponsor because I'm paying for the show. Paying for the show. So,
no arguments here.
Hey,
yeah,
it's right here.
Nothing.
If you like what you see, head on over to creekwaterhatcompany.com, pick you up a hat. Fun fact, I started last week, and today I've not grossed. We've made.
You don't give the information out. You give a hat count. That is all you release publicly.
No.
I have IRS agents in the family here, Frank.
Fellas, I'm incorporated.
That doesn't mean anything.
That does. Over $1,000 worth of sales in hats and merchandise in the last.
Yeah, that all goes on your personal property tax now, Frank.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. So I just want to give a quick shout out. Appreciate everybody that's ordered a hat, t-shirts, hoodies, all that kind of stuff. Head on over to the website if you haven't already. Check it out and see what we're made of. Have Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and a TikTok. Oh. TikTok, I'm close to 100 followers now in less than a week, so not bad.
Dude, you're passing up our YouTube channel.
I know, I can't help it. I actually have a YouTube channel planned for the Creekwater Hat Company. Right now is not a great time to start doing something like that. Just posting YouTube shorts currently. Once baseball season wraps up, and I have what some people might not think is free time, but it's an hour or two at night laying in the bed planning things. So that's kind of where I come up with all my crazy ideas. But today's show was sponsored by Creekwater Hat Company. It's my company, my brand I started 2 weeks ago. Had some pretty good success so far. So if you guys you like what you see here and on my head, let's head over to the website, pick you up a hat. Customer service is the best. Shipped a hat to a guy in Pennsylvania yesterday, so pretty excited about that. First out-of-state sale. So the word is spreading fast. So if you guys want to support the brand, looking to grow a business here, so hit me up.
I heard rumblings of a competitor coming up.
Who's that?
Appalachian Hydration.
Appalachian Hydration? What is that?
It's a new hat company brand.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Quick recap, guys. We're gonna get to the Super Bowl picks here in a few minutes. But Dave, how about them Cats, boy?
Frank,
looking better.
Frank, I have I don't even know if it's an issue right now. I'm not allowed to watch the games. I haven't watched the last 4 games.
Oh, that's a problem.
No.
You're not allowed to watch basketball anymore, Dave.
I know.
That's the way this works.
I flipped it on during the Texas A&M game. We were up by 4 in the first half. Quickly down by 6 within 2 minutes. So it's like, I got to turn it off. So I haven't watched. I've watched probably 30 seconds or no, maybe like 4 minutes of game time the last 5 games.
So
I think this is the baseball in you guys coming out.
I was getting ready to say
100%.
that.
Oh, at 100%.
100%. If you guys
Kelsey
know,
said it. She's like, superstitions aren't real. I'm like,
yes, they are.
I don't care if they're not real. If
I
they're
believe in
winning when I'm not watching, I can't watch.
I support 100% player superstitions in games they're playing in. I don't think as a fan you have any impact on that game. I
All I
get it.
know.
I get Ray Allen eating the chicken and Michael Jordan wearing the shorts under his shorts. Like, I understand those superstitions. There's countless others.
So
You guys are having no impact.
I was getting ready to bring this up. Stepmother here talking about my jersey. So if you haven't heard this story before, I'm going to tell it again. If you have heard it, you're going to hear it again. Last year when the Bengals made the run to the Super Bowl, when the Bengals made it to the AFC Championship, I bought my wife a Evan McPherson jersey because she loves kickers. That's her favorite position on the field, and Evan McPherson was money during the playoffs. So she's like, I want a McPherson jersey. We don't buy jerseys. I was like, I'm going to buy you one, and it was here the next week. So she wore it for the AFC Championship game last year. And then I said to myself, I was like, if we make it to the Super Bowl, I'm going to buy a jersey. I'm going to buy a Trey Hendrickson jersey. So I bought one. It came in the day before the Super Bowl, so I was real pumped. I had a bunch of people over at my house. We were all wearing different jerseys, and it looked like a Bengals family. That's what we are for the most part. We lost the Super Bowl, and I was like, that was kind of a bummer. Nobody expected us to be there. And then we had the season start this year, and I'm pumped. I got my jersey on. First game of the year, everybody's excited. We lose. Okay. And then I'm not sure. I don't remember how we started, but there was a time where I think I was away from the house, didn't wear my jersey, and we won a game. And then the next couple, I was at home, put my jersey on. We lost every game we played while I was wearing that stupid jersey, and I haven't worn it since. I did wear it one time. We were playing Tampa Bay, and I was at my dad's house. We were having a cookout or a dinner there. I had it on, and we were losing to Tampa Bay at halftime. I took it off. We won the game. So needless to say, I'm not allowed to wear that jersey anymore on game day. Now, I'm probably going to wear it on Friday to work, but I can't wear it on game day.
All right. I'm betting the house on the Chiefs.
I don't know. Comment below if you're watching this. Should I wear my jersey to work to show my Bengals pride on Sunday? It's not a game day. Or do you think I should just leave it alone? I'm going to leave it up to the chat. So comment below. Other than that, for the Cats, man, superstition is fine. I have my own superstitions about Kentucky games. Like if we're losing, I'll get up, move to a different seat, or I'll stand up and watch the game. Things like that happen all the time, especially during the NCAA tournament. I've always done that. If you notice, there's a lineup change. I don't know if you guys are Kentucky fans out there, but Severe Wheeler hasn't played very much. Kyle's sticking with 6, sometimes 7 guys most of the time during the rotation. Wheeler played a lot yesterday and played really well and helped us win that game, pull away at the end. But I think Kyle's Coach Johnson said absolutely not, take no chances. All right. Coach Johnson is the word is yours. I'm not wearing it. I think Brian Wilson will wear enough Bengals stuff for the both of us. He was wearing a Bengals shirt and a Bengals hoodie the other day while he was emceeing the basketball game. And he was making sure he's wearing these double fists in there on the Bengals attire. So, Wilson, if you're watching, wear all the Bengals gear you can for me because I can't wear it anymore. But anyway, Cal has seemingly figured it out. I don't know if you guys know this, but like the night before a game, they've been staying in hotels, whether it is in Lexington or elsewhere, and he takes their phone at night. He doesn't let them have it. He takes their phones. They get them back in the morning. They text them at like a certain time in the afternoon. But Uncle Chris says, if you come close to wearing that jersey, I will disown you. All right, Chad has spoken. But, Cal has figured it out, I think. Big game this weekend with Kansas. Kansas has lost like 3 straight. It's going to be a battle. So if we can beat Kansas this weekend, I'll feel like we have, first of all, a good chance of making the tournament, which was, not a very good chance 2 weeks ago. But if we beat Kansas, we're probably going to be in the NCAA tournament. And it's going to give us a big push forward for the rest of the SEC schedule and into the March. So pretty excited to see what they do. But other than that,
I think you had a good matchup with Kansas.
I think we do too.
I mean, Jalen Wilson is the guy, right? That last game, he had, I know, over half the points at halftime, but he was pretty much the only option they were looking for. And Livingston matches up with him pretty well, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they're on a slide right now. So, it's kind of the roles have reversed. Kentucky was the team that was on a slide, in the media, everybody talking about it. Now Kansas is kind of on the opposite side of that now, where Kentucky's won a couple in a row, Kansas has lost a couple in a row. It'll be really interesting to see which two teams show up on Saturday. Is the real Kansas going to show up? Is the fake Kansas going to show up? Which Kentucky team shows up? Who does Cal roll out there? I think I saw that Izzo talked about how he loved how Cal took the phones away. But I mean, that's what's so crazy about Kentucky basketball is how much outside noise there is for 9 guys, 10 guys. Like, I mean, we're talking about 18-year-olds through, I don't know, 23, 24-year-olds, and a grown man has to take their phones away to cancel that outside noise. I mean, I don't know if we can say that's been the difference here lately, but it has to have been a factor.
It just gets them focused, man. They get a good night's sleep. They don't worry about people, reading Twitter and people bashing their coach. And everybody that's played sports has played for a bad coach before, or a coach that you didn't like, or a coach that you didn't think was good. But when you hear all that noise, it puts negative thoughts in your head, and it has an impact on you. You're not going to play well. And so I think that's what's happened. I think these kids are growing up. Although some of them or most of them are veterans in the game of college basketball, you're actually seeing them play like veterans now instead of, they're passing the ball unbelievably well now. 3-point shots are falling for the people that should be falling for. Sheboy's, dominating the boards like he always does. You're getting good minutes off the bench from Wheeler and Lance Ware. Antonio Reeves is coming into his own like I thought he would at the beginning of the year. I thought he was going to be our best player, and so far he's not been our best player overall, but he's been probably the most important player to this point. Cason Wallace is Cason Wallace. We've talked about him before on the show, but I'm kind of excited to see. There's not been very much negativity going on in the Facebook world after, before, and during basketball games, and that's always fun to see from the couch coaches, as I like to call them.
Yeah, and shout out to the actual people in the program, because none of this negativity was coming from the coaching staff. It wasn't coming from the players. Like, they've both had each other's backs throughout the lows.
This is just a byproduct of the NIL deal. NIL and the transfer portal. Everybody expected Antonio Reeves and CJ Frederick to come in, just, put nets on fire. And a lot of people, like, we say they're veterans, but they're veterans of programs at Iowa and Illinois State, and Cal has to get used to them just like they have to get used to Cal. Like, it's not like it was going to mesh. The Bahamas trip, they need to cancel that. Like, that is just bad. But, like, if you as a team, you have to get used to each other. And with everybody switching teams these days, and and especially the Cason Wallace and Livingston coming in, other than Sheboy and Toppin played last year and Ware played a little bit, it was really just Severe and Oscar. So it takes time, and people always overreact.
I've told you, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'm part of it. Kentucky fans are the craziest fans there is. We're never satisfied no matter what. And when things go wrong, and we feel like it's the end of the world as we know it. But in the end, it's just a basketball game. To us, it means a little bit more, honestly. But other fans feel the same.
So, switch this over to North Carolina. Everybody that was calling for Cal's head, North Carolina is in the situation where Roy Williams just stepped away, on his own. Hubert Davis, this is year 2, right?
Yep.
How's it going?
They're one game better than Kentucky right now, 15-6. They had 9 losses last year, made the finals. I don't think it's bad. I think that there's just some players I don't love on this team. Like, they came in with what they were supposed to be, and they haven't lived up to it, in my opinion. Caleb Love is the one I'm talking about specifically. Like, he came in, he's a lottery pick for sure. Dude's not even projected to be drafted after year 3. Go look at a mock draft, and Caleb Love's not in it.
Yeah.
Like, But I think Hubert, I think it's going to take him a while. Obviously, he just went to the national championship. As a Carolina fan, I'll tell you, it was a bit fluky. We weren't one of the two best teams in the country last year. We went into that, we weren't even ranked before the seeds came out. He's changing the system. Roy Williams was there for 10, 15 years. He ran two post players. And Hubert comes in his first year. He's like, I want to stretch four. He got one in the transfer portal. Year two, I want to stretch four. He got one in the transfer portal. So now he's got to start recruiting those guys. And it's going to take a while, I think, before you see Carolina get and stay in that top 10 to 15. But he's totally capable of doing it. He can win the big games. And we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, college basketball is always fun to talk about because there's so much going on and there's games all the time. Like there's never a dull moment. Like you're always watching. And it's the craziest sport there is because people get beat every single day. I think was it Temple that beat Houston the other day? Houston's number one ranked team in the country at the time. Kansas has lost a few in a row. Kentucky lost a few in a row there. Duke is not being Duke. They lost the other day. We talk about North Carolina having a little bit of a struggle. The Blue Bloods aren't always the Blue Bloods now. Like you're not going to have a dominant program as you formerly have. Now there is a culture within a program that represents itself, and with that helps during your runs in March, and you have your fan bases and your support and your administration coming behind you and making sure you get the things that you need to get there and be successful there. But on any given day, any team can beat any team in college basketball. Like we said before on a couple of shows ago when we talked college basketball, the gap is closing in terms of mid-major teams and high Division I teams, your Power 5 teams. There's not a big gap there anymore. And it's just because there's so many talented players now.
But one thing about Carolina, I saw it come out, Hubert Davis, this last week. He has, in his 2 years so far, has targeted guards from the tri-state area in New York. And he says, it's for a reason. Like, he wants his point guard to come from New Jersey, New York City, that area. And he's like, there's just a different toughness about the kids coming out of that area. Like the way they play, their style, their attitude. He was like, I want the guy running my team to have that attitude. And we just signed an ESPN 100 point guard out of New Jersey, I believe. But it's like an intent of his. That's where he recruits, and that's where he's looking for point guards in that one regional area. I thought that was really interesting.
I think a lot of teams do that. You see that more in football than anywhere. Like you'll see guys go down to Florida and recruit. Kentucky beats the hell out of Ohio trying to recruit players, and they're on up into Michigan. Texas recruits Texas, obviously. Kentucky doesn't get many guys from out west because they don't need to go out there to get players. They can go to Florida, Georgia, Carolina. The state of Kentucky is being big in football now. But, you see that a lot with football coaches. They designate areas and they go hit them hard. And seeing basketball coaches do it it's like a breath of fresh air because, certain regions can get known for certain types of players. And like you said, the New Jersey tri-state area there is there in like Chicago, those are like the big hotbeds for college or for basketball players. But I think it's kind of interesting to see how the recruiting game has changed now that the NIL deals are flowing through colleges constantly.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. On one hand, on the other hand, I don't like it. So.
Coop, I actually watched that kid play on Friday.
The commit from
the North
Jersey?
Carolina commit?
Yeah.
Dave, tell us about that. Dave got to watch
as well.
Some hella good basketball this weekend.
Yeah, so it's called the Quincy Shootout. I think this was the 5th year they've had it. We went last year, got to see St. Rita and Huntington Prep play. This year they had 20-something teams in the various polls. I think they said 6 were ranked in the top 30 nationally. Headliner being Link Academy from Branson, Missouri, which they're just, a prep school. But they're starting. How do you
stick? I know where you're going with this, but how do you stick that in Branson, Missouri?
I ain't never been to Branson, but it sounds like a good time.
I've never been either. I've heard it's like a destination spot. Like people around here go vacation there. They say it's like super nice. I don't know, but I heard
boys trip to Branson.
Right. So this team finished second in the Geico National Championship last year. They're like the various polls have them as number 1 or number 3, and their starting 5 is North Carolina, Tennessee, Baylor, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. I think they had 2 Tennessee guys, and then like they're just absolutely stacked. But what was crazy is the team they played was some team out of Utah who was also top 25. They had a kid committed to Kansas State, and they also had like 2 sophomores that were top 25. So, I mean, it wasn't like a great game to watch because it was just like it was a good physical game. Like you didn't see anything crazy out of the normal, but it was like a foul fest because it was just very physical. But it's pretty cool. Like the North Carolina kid, the point guard, he was smooth. He drew a lot of fouls. He basically took the other team out of the game. So
yeah, RJ Davis has been our savior this year at Carolina, and he's that guy. He came, I believe he's from New York, but he's running the point now instead of Love, and it's made a big difference.
Well, switching gears here now. I know some of you guys clicked on here to watch us make our Super Bowl picks. So, like it says in the title, we're not shying away from that. We have an hour worth of show to give. Making a Super Bowl pick is not going to take an hour, so we got to talk about some other stuff too. If you guys are in the chat or you're following us, watching us live, if you're not on YouTube, head on over to YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We're almost to 100 subscribers. So, we've been trying to get to that point for a long time. So if you subscribe, we would appreciate it. It helps us grow the channel, helps us get noticed more on YouTube. More people start watching us. We know we're not here to make a living. We're here to have a little fun, but it is nice to see people like the content. And if you love it, give us a subscription. It's free to do so, and then like the video so it gets spread out everywhere else. So we are here to make our Super Bowl picks. With that being said, let's talk about the 4 teams that are in it. AFC Championship. You've got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. That's my team. Love the Bengals. Joe Burrow. And on the other side in the NFC, you have the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles arguably been the best team in the league all year long. Jalen Hurts, sort of a breakout year. Big trade with A.J. Brown helped him out a lot. Great defense, both sides on the NFC. Both defenses are stacked. So let's start with the NFC, guys. Who you guys have coming out of the NFC and why?
Dave?
So I'm going to take the easy one. I'm going to take the easy pick here, and I'm going to say Philly. The defense, I'll say the defense is a wash. Both teams have incredible defenses. The one that I'm going to go here is, Purdy didn't look the best against the Cowboys. I wouldn't even say he played bad. I just think the Cowboys defense was very good this year. But CMC got banged up in that game. He had
They've got a couple guys banged up.
So I just think the Eagles have a better chance of scrambling some touchdowns than I think the 49ers do. So I'm going to say the Eagles are at home. I'm going to give them that advantage.
Yeah, I want to jump in because I agree with you. I think the Eagles are going to win as well. Jalen Hurts has been that dude all year long, although he has dealt with some injuries lately. He's still got a great cast of people around him. Great offensive line. He's been, they've been the best offense in football for a long time. This year anyway. If you got 2 great receivers to throw to, like you said, the defense is stacked. Darius Slayton in the backfield, gonna probably give Brock Purdy some problems. You mentioned Brock Purdy not playing very well against the Cowboys, but a lot of that can be attributed to his inexperience. Like the dude's a rookie; he's won every game he's played in. But this is a little different. This is the NFC Championship game. This is a go to the Super Bowl. Like the dude, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not giving the Eagles a 100% chance to win. In my opinion, it's probably like a 70-30 split. In order for the Niners to win, their defense is going to have to score. That's what I'm going to say. The defense for the 49ers has to score a touchdown, at least one, has to get some turnovers on Jalen Hurts in order for them to win, because I think they're going to put up points. But I don't know if that 49ers offense led by Brock Purdy is going to light up the scoreboard against the Eagles. They couldn't light it up against the Cowboys, even with all their weapons. Debo got banged up as well. CMC is hurt, and neither one of them practiced today. I want to say Bosa was on the injury list as well for some reason, and that name popped up in my brain. I kind of see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen when I was watching television earlier this morning. But I give it a 70-30 split for the Eagles to win on Sunday, and that's just my opinion. I think they're going to outscore, but if the 49ers are going to win, the defense has to score. They got to turn over the ball.
Yeah, the spread has San Francisco winning right now. They're favored. I don't think injuries sway it because Jalen Hurts is still playing banged up, right? He got hurt, I think, the last week of the regular season, maybe the week before, but he's been playing not 100%. And I want to recognize Lane Johnson real quick. Dude is an animal.
I love offensive linemen.
December 26th, Lane Johnson is expected to miss the rest of the regular season because he needs abdominal surgery. And he said, I'm going to wait. He hasn't allowed a sack since week 11 of 2020.
That ain't bad.
It is 2023.
Yeah. That ain't bad, fellas.
So I think he can.
They have one of the better offensive lines in football, period.
They have the best front nine. Their offensive line, their defensive line. They have the best front nine in football.
That's a good point.
I don't think they have the best defense, but they're, when you get in the trenches, the Eagles,
that's where you win games.
Stand out. I'm going 49ers because I don't think Brock Purdy's a conversation. I really don't. Yeah, he's playing quarterback, but, you got somebody playing slot cornerback as well. You got somebody playing safe. Like, the person playing doesn't matter. Kyle Shanahan matters. Like, I've seen so many things with Brock Purdy in the offensive rookie of the year conversation. And name the last bad quarterback that San Francisco had. It's been everybody's scraps. I mean, like, since Shanahan got there, he has won with every quarterback he's had.
That's true.
He finds a way. And I think they are not I really think they're the more complete team. When you look at 22 starters, I'm going to give the edge to San Francisco. And I do think they pull it out. I think that Shanahan is smart enough. He'll find a way to neutralize Hurts. He can keep it low scoring, and they just have so much versatility on offense. They can bring Debo in and run the ball. They can split CMC out and throw it. Ayuk is a wide receiver one. There are so many teams where he would be an absolute star. There are just a ton of mouths to feed. George Kittle is not only one of the best receiving tight ends in the league, he is the best blocking tight end. They run out 6 linemen every time they have him on the field. That offense is just absolutely loaded.
You also forget, too, Elijah Mitchell's still there.
Right? Yeah, and they use him.
He's a dude. Like, he is a dude. Yeah. And, like, you don't really miss much with when CMC catches a blow on third down or something like that. They'll run whole series with Elijah Mitchell in there and not skip a beat. Yep. They're a good offense for sure.
There's a whole playbook from San Francisco that we haven't even seen ran this year. Mm-hmm. I firmly believe that, and I think that Shanahan can. And no, Sirianni's done a great job in Philly. I'm not saying that he's
a prick,
significantly inferior coach, but I think that this will come down to game planning and scheme, and I got to go Shanahan and the Niners.
So there's the NFC picks. Me and Dave are rolling with the Eagles, and Coop is rolling with the 49ers. Let us know in the chat what you think. Leave a comment below. Who are you picking for the NFC Championship? Moving on to the AFC, I'm going to be biased. I can't help it. I am. But I'm going to give you some scenarios that have to happen in order for the Bengals to win this weekend. Number 1, if you give Joe Burrow time to throw the ball, you're beat. Period. I really think that. He had 1 sack last week on a shattered offensive line, and that's nothing new to him. The dude made it to the Super Bowl last year with a worse offensive line. And now some of those guys that played last year are having to play again. You've got Jackson Carman on the left tackle. You've got, Ted Karras has been injured. You've got Sharping playing right guard, and you got Hakeem Adeniji playing right tackle. Those three guys were on the team last year. Sharping didn't play much last year, but your two tackles played the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks for some of them, and that's it. And last week against the Bills, although it was in the snow, that has a difference. That makes a difference. The weather makes a difference on pass rushes. It does. I'm sorry. 1 sack. If you give Joe Burrow time to throw the ball, he's going to find a way to beat you. His receivers catch the ball. They run. He throws them open. They run good combination routes in order to, to get people open. If you shut down Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is going to go off. If you shut down both of them, then Tyler Boyd's going to jump in there. And when you shut them all three down, people forget Hayden Hurst is still a good tight end at receive. He can receive the ball. He's gotten us many, many, many first downs. And most of the time he's catching it short of the sticks and making it happen with his legs. With that being said, defensively, I think the Bengals are, better than they've been in years. They've got a really good defensive line, probably, like Coop said, talk about the Eagles having, the best front nine. I think the Bengals front five, their defensive line is probably at least top 7 right now. You got 2 good pass rushers. Hendrickson is a bad dude. I don't care what anybody says. People are talking about what's his name? Everybody's talking about it. Why am I blanking on the other guy? Sam Hubbard. Dang it! I'm a Bengals fan. I can't even remember that name. Everybody is like all in on the Sam Hubbard train. Mostly women right now, but that's okay. He's a good-looking dude. But the dude can play. He's a hand in the dirt kind of guy. He doesn't make many big plays in the backfield. Let's put it that way. He's a run stopper. Hendrickson on the other side, coming from the left, is the pass rush guy. What the Bengals do well is they move their secondary around enough to where they can use safety blitzes and corner blitzes to get to the quarterback. Here's the thing. In order for the Bengals to win this weekend, Patrick Mahomes has to throw it from the pocket. That's easier said than done. Another thing that scares me is the Bengals have beaten the Chiefs 3 times in a row. Joe Burrow has never lost to the Chiefs in a game that he's played in. That's unheard of. To go 4-0 against Patrick Mahomes, nobody can do that. You can't say that. That's going to happen for sure. Patrick Mahomes is injured, but he did practice fully today. I think he's going to be fine. Don't know what the weather's going to be like, but if the weather's a factor, I like the chances for the Bengals. So I'm picking the Bengals. But for me, honestly, without being a homer, I'm going to give it a 50-50 chance. I really am split down the middle. In my heart, I think the Bengals are going to win. I'm a Bengals fan, obviously. In my head, and the football person, what I know about the game, it's a 50-50 split on who's winning. I think if you shut down Travis Kelce, which is nearly impossible, you can't let the dude just run free in the backfield. I don't know why anybody would try to run a zone against the stupid Chiefs and let Travis Kelce just catch. He's going to dink and dunk you to death. And you can't tackle the guy. So I'm picking the Bengals reluctantly. What do you guys got?
You want me to go?
I went first last time. I'll go last time.
Yeah, I'm going Kansas City. And it's because of that banged up offensive line. And it's like, yeah, they just won last week and they dominated. I get it. The Bills have 1 active player on their roster that played last week that has more than 7 sacks. And he has 8. That's Greg Russo. And he has them because he's like 6'9" and he can just reach his arm out around tackles and grab people. It's not because he's actually that great of a defensive end. Chris Jones has 15.5, and he's not rushing from the edge. He's coming right up the middle. And I think it is a completely different look in that pass rush with him. Again, on the coaching side, this is the time of year where that matters so much. Andy Reid is superior to Zach Taylor. There's no argument there. Weapons, yeah.
No argument there.
Since he's got the edge. Agree with that 100%. They have the better offensive weapons. But I think that what Buffalo was missing this year because of the injury that happened to Von Miller was 1, a pass rush. And 2, I don't think that their linebackers were as versatile as what Kansas City has. And I think it's really going to come down to Kansas City's defense, not stopping Cincinnati, but containing them. And I think Nick Bolton and Willie Gay are better in both facets of the game than what Buffalo is rolling out with Edmonds, and I believe Matt Milano is their second off-ball linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give those three players to me make the difference in the game. Bolton, Gay, and Chris Jones. That's why I'm going with Kansas City. Has nothing to do with offense, nothing to do with Mahomes. I think it comes down to them being able to – I think the coverage is going to be better in the middle of the field, and I think that Jones is going to get more pressure than anybody from Buffalo is able to do.
Valid points. I don't like them, but they're valid.
Yeah, my approach is very similar, except on the opposite side of the ball. Watching that Bills-Bengals game, Joe Mixon got 5 yards whenever he wanted. And I think that was the absolute thing that just killed the Bills. They could not get off the field. So to me, I feel like that's going to be the matchup to watch this week is going to be Isaiah Pacheco versus Joe Mixon, who's going to have more rushing attempts and rushing yards. I feel like if one team, both of these teams easily could both abandon the run. Like, we have two gunslingers. They want to throw the ball. They have the guys that can catch it and make big plays. But I feel like the coaching staff who is going to give their defense a break and be able to extend drives, have that 10, 12 play drive, rather than the explosive 75-yard touchdown pass to Jamar Chase or, Kadarius Toney. So I don't know. I kind of like Cincinnati. I thought Mahomes is going to be more banged up than what videos have shown him. He looks like he's running around, but I don't know. Are you going to wear your jersey, Frank?
Huh?
Are you going to wear your jersey?
I'm not.
If you're not going to wear your jersey, the Bengals will win.
This was brought up on the broadcast last week when Mahomes got injured. It's not a regular quarterback injury because most of the time when your plant foot is hurt, you're done. Like Tom Brady, no way he can play with that injury. Mahomes throws wrong all the time and it works. He doesn't need that foot. And it's like, yeah, maybe if he's throwing 50-yard bombs to Tyreek Hill, he does. They're not doing that anymore.
No.
That's not their scheme. Jerick McKinnon had 9 receiving touchdowns this year as their RB3.
Yeah.
Like, they're using everybody, and he doesn't have to do it going vertically. So even if he is hampered by that injury, which, like Dave said, it doesn't look like it's going to have a big impact, he's the one quarterback I don't think it matters because he can throw the ball so many ways.
The only thing that brings to my mind is their creativity going to go away a little bit because of it?
That's a point I was going to make too.
Like, does Eric Bieniemy say, maybe we don't do ring around the rosy this time because Patrick's hurt. Patrick's foot's hurt.
The actual play call was ring around the Mahomesy. I'm
That's
not
even
kidding.
better.
That was the play call.
That's so good. I like watching the Chiefs play. I really do. Just you can see the creativity in play calls, and you look on the sideline. You see Andy Reid just sitting over there with his Waffle House menu of plays, and he's a offensive genius. Like, he did it in Philadelphia, he's doing it here. But like, I don't know, man. I think a lot of their success comes from Mahomes making things happen, receivers breaking off their routes and finding open spots and sitting down and just letting Mahomes hit him off on the run. The ankle injury is going to have an impact on that. Whether or not it has a large impact, I don't know. Rush lanes are important for Cincinnati's defense. You have to keep him in the pocket. I don't think you can let him step up and throw it because that makes those big deep bombs possible. You don't have to sack him, but you do have to put pressure on him, and you do have to slow him down enough to make him think about where he's going to throw the ball and allow the defenders in the defensive backfield recover their receivers that have already broken off their routes and running different routes. They're most of the time when they make big plays, especially on third down and even fourth down or inside the red zone, their plays are coming off of broken plays. They're coming off of pressures that Mahomes gets out of. He's slippery as can be, so he's running to the outside. He's tiptoeing along the sideline. He slings a sidearm and finds somebody just chilling, sitting there, nobody around him. That's how they win. That's how they beat you. If you cut down those plays, I think the Bengals win by a touchdown or more. If you don't, I think the Chiefs win by 3.
I feel worse about picking this game than I do the other one. I have more confidence in San Francisco than I do in Kansas City. But I don't think the Bengals pass rush is built the right way to face the Chiefs. And I say that because they don't get much out of their linebackers in the pass rush. That's not the way their scheme, right?
Right. The linebackers hardly ever get sacks. They don't rush passer.
Right. And Hubbard and Hendrickson aren't speed guys. They're both power rushers.
Yeah, they try to run you over.
They're not Micah Parsons off the edge. This is a really good offensive line, and it does have slower tackles. Like Brown, right? Brown plays tackle for him. Orlando Brown, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Really slow, but extremely powerful in the pass game and run game. And I think the way you beat them in the pass rush is with speed. Cincinnati doesn't have – that's not the kind of rush they use. I think somebody like Micah Parsons can absolutely destroy – can blow up the game plan for Patrick Mahomes. But the Cowboys are sitting at home. It doesn't matter. Yep. I'm just saying I think it's that type of rush and scheme that gives them those problems.
Yeah. So like my picks to go to the Super Bowl are the Bengals and the Eagles. At this point, I think it's a toss-up. I really do. I think those two games are in the those two teams are scoring in the 40s in the Super Bowl. I think that would be the most entertaining Super Bowl with those two teams involved, with the offensive weapons. Every quarterback here is young and talented, so that's not going to be if, ands, or buts. You're not having the old wily veteran, the former MVP, the 12-year guy. You've got young guys, and they're taking over the league, and we see it now. It's a different game, and those older guys are fading themselves out. But quarterback play is going to be good, I think, across the board this weekend. My Super Bowl pick is I'm picking the Bengals. I don't know. If they get past the Chiefs, I like their chances against either team. So
we're going next round. We're going final Super Bowl pick.
Who's sitting at the top in a few weeks?
San Francisco.
Brock Purdy taking them to the promised land.
Nope. Kyle Shanahan taking them to the promised land.
That's
and
right.
the number one defense in the league.
It's going to be the Brock Purdy story, and you all know it. That would make for great off-season content.
It already has.
If the 49ers win the Super Bowl.
I don't even know. I think we're having that conversation now.
Well, we are.
Why would you want a first rounder when you got a 7th rounder for 4 more years? I would trade Trey Lance immediately.
Who wants him?
I don't know.
I'm not a Trey Lance believer. I am not a Trey Lance.
You're not going to get back what you gave for him.
No.
We didn't see Trey Lance. We don't know what Trey Lance can be.
I just don't see him yet. I'm cool. I'm cool with not seeing him. That you just kind of know. I just got this feeling. Like I've said it 100,000 times on the show. Dak Prescott ain't it. He ain't it. He ain't going to be it. He sucks.
You're so wrong.
He's a great fantasy football quarterback.
He is not going to get the job done.
Weeks 1 through 15.
That's my gut feeling. He choked this weekend.
Who is better? Yeah, he did. 100%. He choked.
He's going to continue to do the same thing. Year in, year out.
And there's not one quarterback in the Hall of Fame that hasn't had a multi-interception game.
Right. I agree with that.
That happened at a bad time. Whatever. Who is better? Who are you going to get?
I'm not saying you can get anybody better. I just think
who is available that you can upgrade from Dak?
They keep saying Lamar is being shopped.
That's interesting. That would be awesome.
But
that's close for me. That's a conversation. I don't think that's no brainer.
I would agree with that too, but Lamar can give you more.
Is Lamar not a borderline top 5 quarterback in this league?
Listen, Coop, there's more to quarterbacking than just throwing the ball. Lamar gives you another facet of the game that Dak doesn't necessarily give you, and that's why Lamar's top 5.
In my opinion,
Lamar carries an inferior team. You can't even say it.
Lamar
Cowboys' offense is way better than the.
Lamar has less weapons. Lamar has
not
less
even
weapons.
Close. Lamar has
I
the
don't
worst.
know. J.K. Dobbins is a tank,
but he's not been healthy.
But when he plays, he's really good. And
He's
he has
awesome.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews hasn't
Who-
been healthy.
Dalton Schultz missed 6 games.
Yeah. I mean, Tony Pollard.
Michael
just
Gallup's coming back
snapped
off an
his
ACL
fibula.
injury.
I don't know. Here's my take on Dak. He's Tony Romo. He's not going to win you 3 games in a row to win the Super Bowl. He's just
I
not.
agree with
Better
that.
than Tony.
Not every quarterback can win a Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah, 100%. We are having a conversation right now on Dak versus Lamar. Dak is not a terrible quarterback. Dak is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Yes.
Dak or Deshaun Watson. $230 million guaranteed. Dak or Deshaun Watson.
Well, I'll answer that question after next year.
I think I'd go Deshaun Watson.
I wouldn't.
It's hard though.
Antics aside,
Well,
character aside, I'm talking about football play.
right.
I would probably take Dak right now.
But that's where it's hard because we saw Deshaun for 6 games, and he was
Dak
off
missed
for
5.
But he was off. Watson hasn't played since COVID. Like, it's a little bit
Oh,
different.
he's played. It just ain't been football.
Dak or Derek Carr.
Well, that's Dak all day.
Okay.
I feel like
Derek
they
Carr's
are
terrible too.
Dak or Kirk
copies
Cousins.
of each other.
I'll say this, Coop. If you put Dak on the Vikings, I might change my tune a little bit.
There's only like a handful of guys I can pick over Dak. Dak or Kyler Murray. Yeah, exactly. You guys quit the Dak hate. Yes,
I didn't hate
he didn't
on
win
him.
a Super
I'm just
Bowl.
saying he's not gonna win you the important game.
I don't think he's going to win.
He's going to put up hella fantasy points, and I'll play him.
But
But I'm
Dak-
not gonna say the Cowboys are gonna win.
Does Dak win the important games with Kyle Shanahan?
he don't have Kyle Shanahan. It doesn't matter. He's
got
going to be a
Kellen
Cowboy his
Moore.
It's
whole
a
career.
McCarthy problem. It's not a Dak problem. That's
Well,
what
when
I'm
McCarthy
getting at
gets
here.
fired here in the next few days,
Wait, can we just talk about that last play? How glorious it was to see Zeke Elliott snap the ball and just get pancaked immediately.
yeah, it wasn't even close. And the receiver literally he didn't even have enough time to hit the ground with his feet before he was dead. He got trucked.
Dak had to
Dak
get
is-
rid of the ball because
Zeke
Zeke
is
didn't.
under contract till 2027.
Zeke's
What
got to
have
hang
they
it up.
done?
Zeke's got to hang it up
No, he already came out and said he'll take a pay cut because they'll cut his ass.
because ain't nobody else want him.
It's Tony Pollard's team, boys.
It should be.
He broke his leg.
Hey, they said he'll be all right.
Yeah, broken
Anyway,
legs.
point I was making is McCarthy's the problem. Dak is a Super Bowl winning quarterback with Shanahan. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback with Reed. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback with, I don't know. There's another coach out there. But he's
Hypothetically
not winning
speaking,
it with McCarthy.
If the Cowboys end up with Sean Payton 5
Yep,
years
he's going
down the
Super Bowl.
road and they don't win a Super Bowl, are you changing your tune?
Yeah, if he hits 34 with Sean Payton and they haven't done it, then Dak probably didn't have it. But I really think he's capable. And look at every team. Look at the final 4 teams left. They have at least 3 premier options on the offensive side of the ball. Right? You got Cincinnati. You got
Cincinnati has
let's
4.
go top 3. Mixon, Higgins, Chase. San Francisco. You got Kittle, CMC. I think Ayuk is up there. And Debo above Ayuk. Philadelphia. Hurts counts himself as one because of what he can do with his feet. Devontae Smith has actually outpaced A.J. Brown. You got Dallas Goedert and a stable of running backs. They're loaded.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Kansas City, Mahomes, Andy
Kelce.
Reid, and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
But I'm
I
just saying,
think that they can just draw stuff up in the sand and it'll work.
you got to have that many options. And the teams that lost last weekend, I don't think all of them had it. And Dallas is one of those. They had CD Lamb. They had Pollard.
Yeah, that's like the kicker though. Is Pollard went out early? What could have been?
You can't
if
say
he
kicker and Dallas Cowboys in the same sentence right now. It's a sore subject.
Why? He made his field goals last week.
But
He made 'em.
you're seeing it. You're seeing a blueprint right now. Young quarterbacks, multiple weapons. The rest you can piece together. All these teams have good rosters. I understand it has to be done. But you're seeing young quarterbacks. Because who's the oldest? Mahomes at 26?
Yeah.
Maybe 27. And multiple weapons on offense. It can't be one guy. It can't be two. You have to have at least 3 options on the offensive side of the ball. And teams are going to start trying to replicate that.
All right, Coop. While we're having this conversation, we're about to wrap up the show here in a few minutes. Who's your Super Bowl pick? You already had the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Dave hadn't picked yet.
Moving on to Dave. Dave, you're the last one. We're going to wrap up the show with Dave's pick here.
I stole that, Dave.
The NFC dominance continues, and the Philadelphia Eagles
go Fighting Fields, baby.
The Eagles break the chain. You know, the Phillies lost in the World Series. I think the men's soccer lost in the MLS. The Eagles are going to bring redemption to the city.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised with any team winning. I think all 4 teams, I think the best 4 teams in the league made it in the end. I really do. Apart from, you could throw the Bills in there.
See, that's where it was just like really unfortunate that the Bills-Bengals game got canceled.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, that gave the Bengals a huge advantage. You know, other than DeMar Hamlin, like I think the Bills had 2 injuries before that, which I don't know if that affected them throughout the season. But that Bills defense looked awful. And, you know, they would have had 4 quarters to see kind of how the Bengals were attacking them. And that would have gave them an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not, but at least they would have known, they would have had a better game plan going into this week defensively.
I felt like
played that game.
I felt like that game that got canceled was going to be a shootout. I think it had the makings of, you know, somebody scoring every possession.
It was 2 drives to 1.
You have to open the playbook there.
Yeah. 2 drives to 1, hard to make a lot out of it. And it might be a little bit of homerism myself from being, you know, at Paycor Stadium with some orange and black on. But Cincinnati looked like the better team through those 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely did.
Yeah.
I mean, they were by far the better team on Sunday.
Yeah.
But that's where because those games are important. Like we talked about, you know, Frank said the Chiefs or the Bengals have beaten the Chiefs 3 times. You know, 2 of those times were week, 17, and then the AFC Championship last year. I mean, that's huge being able to see a team that late in the season and then playing them within basically the same month.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
But the Bills fall into that same category I just said. It's Josh Allen, it's Stephon Diggs, and then it's kind of let's look for a third guy.
Yeah, they don't have any running backs. The Bills need to go after a running back this offseason.
But
there's a lot of good ones on the table.
I feel like Singletary and James Cook they can do the job. It's just they abandoned the run so fast.
Did you see
the best runner they
comments?
have is Josh Allen?
Did you see the GM talking about this? Because this a similar question was brought up in a press conference with the GM, kind of comparing their offensive talent at the skill positions to Cincinnati. He was like, you know, we're paying a couple guys a lot of money. He was like, Stephon Diggs is making a lot of money. Josh Allen's making a lot of money. He goes, Cincinnati had some lean years, and Joe Burrow's on a rookie contract. He said, we never want to suck bad enough to draft Jamar Chase.
Oh, yeah, I did.
He was like, you went from the first pick to the third pick. And that's why it's there, to bring parity to the league. This is the exact reason we have the draft, because you want the teams from the bottom to come to the top. And you want the teams from the top to fall down eventually. Like, this is the exact reason we have it, and it's working out perfectly. But I get his point 100%. He has to build his team with the salary cap in mind. And the Bengals have done it with the advantage of rookie contracts. And that's how it works. Nobody's complaining. Not saying it's unfair. But that's the blueprint, I think, going forward.
And oftentimes, people teams miss on the draft all the time. The Bengals got lucky. They drafted, you know, in the last couple of years, you have Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, You've got Logan Wilson on the defensive side. You have Cam Taylor-Britt, rookie this year. Dax
Jesse
Hill,
Bates.
who played a little bit, not terribly much, but your draft has been phenomenal the last few years. That's why you're here. Now, that team is not going to be the same team in 5 years because of money issues. And if they're going to win, it needs to be soon, or that window's closing quickly.
Yep.
See, the thing I don't agree with though about saying like I don't want to suck bad enough to draft a Jamar Chase. Justin Jefferson went at like 18th, I believe, something like that. DK Metcalf went in the second round.
Yeah.
Like there are guys out there that are
Yeah.
just as good as Jamar Chase
I
that
agree.
like you could draft. You just choose not to. And so I disagree with what he's saying. Like, you know, I think Mike Tomlin said that about Chase Young a few years ago. It's like there's still dudes out there that might have just went to a smaller college or had some whatever issue, but
Pittsburgh's a great example of being stuck in mediocrity.
yeah.
Right? They're not getting the premium draft picks. They're staying around 500 like year after year. When's the last time we saw a Pittsburgh team be great or bad?
They're just kind of solid.
The killer bees in 11, right?
Yeah. So 11 years, you're talking about players' careers have started and ended in that time.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's probably happy that get those guys out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, it's been a good night. Nice talking about a lot of different things. You know, if you're late hopping on and you're watching later on YouTube, covering basketball, you know, NFL talk is always good. It's always on the docket here on our show. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that now. Special thanks to today's sponsor, the Creekwater Hat Company. This guy. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Brian Markham. Holla at your boy. Go Bengals. Definitely going to be planning a big menu for this weekend. So appreciate everybody. Again, thanks for the love. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Like the video. Tune in next week. We'll be on again. Appreciate it. See you.